But when we were heading out for the bus, Paddy Kelly and Mark Cannon headed to the right, to the disco. So we got back to Trim the next morning for first mass. So those are the great memories I had of refereeing board, with going around with me and refereeing games. So thank you very much.
I think that particular episode of Paddy Kelly's, and I think it seems like everybody wants to have a go at Paddy tonight. But I was on the bus outside with yourself and Mary, and he wasn't the only culprit. It's amazingly, Kiltale had a culprit, that was Paddy Kelly. The other culprit was Martin Smith from Rathmaline. But they're great memories, Joe, and you're absolutely right. We sat in the back of the bus, Mary and Joe, I felt, for getting after, because I was having a pint, so I had a couple of pints I could get by with it. And I think we might have left Johnny Masterson above in Castleblaney that evening, didn't we?
I think we did, but the fact we were given out on the bus, and I said it's not their fault, it's ours for coming to the bus. And before I go, I was just leaving all of this little part and talk. A referee stood at the goalie ring. His head was bent and low. He meekly asked the man of faith which way he ought to go. St. Peter said, "What have you done to seek admission here?" "I've been a referee below," he said, "for many and many a year." St. Peter gently pressed the bell. "Come inside and show the heart you've had your share of hell."
That night when we got stuck on the bus, actually, it was Meath played Antrim in Castleblaney in an All-Ireland quarter-final, I think it was. Now, I just do a small little introduction that I intended on, and great to have you with us, Joe, and lovely to hear those memories. Before we start talking to some of the people, just perhaps paint a short picture and bring you into the time of what might have went the years before. It's not very long, but the history of Kiltale Hurling Club goes back as far as the 1920s. In about the mid-30s it disbanded and came back again around the middle of the 1940s. And they played junior at that time up to the mid-50s. In 54 they won a junior championship. But at that time there were a few hurlers in this part of the county, but not enough to play senior. There was a combination team put together in 1953 and 54. Involved in that were Ratoath, Drumree, Dunshaughlin, and I suppose you're putting up some pictures there, are you?
If you want.
No, just yeah, that's fine. But we will go through those with the players. I'm just bringing you to the point of where we start talking with them, and we'll go through those pictures. In 54, at that stage, Kiltale won a junior championship, but a combination side was put together, including Kiltale, and I think you have a photograph of them there. 1951-54 maybe. But that team played, the championship was being dominated at that stage by both Trim and Kilmessan. Trim because they had a huge population relative to the rest of the county. Kilmessan because they had a massive parish that stretched all the way, from Screen back towards Dunshaughlin, into Jack Quinn's in fact. And that team, they called them St. Patrick's. Now, obviously a combination team was allowed at that time, and St. Patrick's beat Trim in two finals, in 53 and 54, I think. Now, I don't know what the politics were at the time, but I think that was put a stop to anyway, because the combination was so strong. And I don't know if you've got this, is that the team there? Yeah. Let's just have a quick look at that, because we'll be talking to players about that. That is the that's the 54 team that won the championship. There's lots of people there that we'll be talking, like Mickey Reed and Teddy Mulligan and Kevin Smith, they'd all be included in that picture. I think Brian Smith is there as well, but at that time they won those 2 championships. Now what a lot of people don't know, there's a 1958 photograph that I showed you there, if you wouldn't mind putting it up. Kiltale contested a Meath Senior Hurling final, their first ever, in 1958. And a lot of people don't really realise that. They played Boards Mill in the final, and Boards Mill beat them. And I'm not sure if you have that photograph there, have you, David?
Yeah.
But that was the first senior final that Kiltale contested. A lot of people, I think, are of the opinion that might have been junior or something. Boards Mill had won the junior in 1956. But there was no club around in the 60s, but Alvey was the club. I would have hurled against them at the time, including the late Paddy Kelly. He'd have been playing with them. But in the mid-70s, they won the intermediate hurling in 1972, another 14 in 1975. I think Jimmy Collins might have been in charge or looking after them at that stage. And then they won the intermediate again in 1978. Now, that's a photograph. It's not of a Kiltale team, because Paddy Kelly says that they didn't take photographs of losing teams in Kiltale. Well, at that stage, definitely not. But that's the Boards Mill team of 1958 that defeated Kiltale in the Senior Hurling Championship final in Trim in early December. Trim were back to their winning ways after the combination team were actually stopped, and they won a couple of championships. And Boards Mill, in a league scenario, played Trim on a particular Sunday, and at that stage they had beaten Trim in the Feis Cup final for their first ever Feis Cup in June 1958. And then if they beat Trim or drew with them in Trim, it meant they got to a final. Kiltale had already qualified for that final. Trim drew with them, and the following Sunday the final was played, and Boards Mill beat Kiltale in that final. The real significance of that photograph is, just in case you think I don't know, I have no memories or what, but the little fella in the bottom right hand side with the cap on him, that's me. So I do go back a little bit further than you might think in that sense. And that's really, as much as I want to say, that brings you up into the 70s after winning the 2 intermediates. I was at Ballycline then with a rivalry that built. They were after winning the intermediate in 79. Joe's away. Good night, Joe. Good night. It kind of, I suppose, brings us up towards the early 80s, after Kiltale winning the 2 intermediate championships in the 70s. Killyon beat Kiltale in 3 semi-finals in that period. 2 very good teams that have come through the intermediate ranks. And I suppose when we get to 1982, there are other memories here. A lot of the research for this evening, I would have had a fair bit of it in my own head, but again, Paddy Kelly, I have to thank him for a lot of the research that he did. Can anyone remember anything else apart from Kiltale winning the first senior hurling championship that happened in 1962?
82.
Or sorry, 1982, yeah. Okay, well look, I'll give you two. So you remember Malcolm MacArthur? Yeah. That was his year. The Falklands War was going on. And Paddy, you mentioned the thing to me, 40 years since then, and it's a long time, you said. And I think we described it in the end as, no, it's probably the best way to gauge it is it's the same length of time as it's been since Waltertown last won the Meath Senior Football Championship in 1984. So we agreed that's how long 40 years is. and did all these things and put their work into it and built it up to what it is today. You have to be very, very proud. And then you mentioned some names there from the club that are legends, if you like. You would call them legends within the club. But I can guarantee you as a young guy myself and other people who are interested in this, they weren't legends just in today. They were legends all over County Meath. They were guys that we all looked up to, even though they weren't from our own club. 83, that was the year Shergar went missing and was never found. Anything else? Anyone remember anything else? Anyone tell you what was the price of a pint in 1983? You could have got a pint for 63 pence. But I'm afraid you won't get it for that tonight. Paddy is down there, and I'd say at this stage, Paddy, you have a few people in Ordinary that want to come up here and talk to us and get us into the mood. He has mentioned now, Paddy, you got to tell us who you got first. Tommy Cummins is one, I think. Tommy did make his way up here. Tommy Cummins, Tommy Bannon is another man on this list. Tommy Bannon is there, is he? Patsy Mork is another man. Is Paddy Walsh there? Paddy was full back, I think. Oh, I don't know, Will. There's very little, I think, that you haven't done to bring us back to that time, and perhaps just a little build up to it when you were a relatively young man at that stage. Before you get taken to all the weird stuff that you might have been involved in.
You haven't been drinking for 6 hours, have we?
I suppose I was involved in underage as a player from 11 or 12 years of age. There was nothing else much to do with training, hurling and football, and just came up through the ranks, underage, up to 16, 9, and the rest of the senior. So by the time we won the championship in 82 and 83, I was certainly coming the wrong side of the hill at that stage. So I would like to thank all the young lads who actually won the senior championship in 82 and 83 and gave me that honour of having 2 senior hurling medals.
As a matter of interest, just they talked about that, Tommy. Up to that, as you say, you're getting to the end of your career. Did you ever feel that you might win the senior hurling championship, or did you feel that chance was gone?
I know it was always there. We knew we had a group of lads coming through that were brilliant hurlers, and there's no doubt about it. Like Paddy himself, Jerry Regan was a phenomenal hurler. Mickey, Aidan Crickley, all those young lads, you know, they were brilliant.
Yeah, Jerry Regan was voted Young Hurler of the Year on that.
Yeah, he was indeed, and You know, it was a pity that he went away because he would have been outstanding for me as well. You know.
Yeah. Look, the other thing that probably need to mention to you when I'm talking to you, and I noticed it there in the video as we were looking at it, the man who recorded some of that stuff, and it's really only 40 years down the road that you realise the value of either a photograph or video clips. But the man obviously organising that was a man that you'd have known very well, indeed we all did, and he was a real live wire, and that was the late Liam Ryan.
Well, Liam was a phenomenal human being, and I could not speak more highly, and I was so delighted to be a friend of Liam's. Like what he done for this club, you know, he brought us from the dark ages into the modern type club. He came from Tumivara, Doug Tumivara.
Tipperary again.
Yeah, but he came from Dalkey Mitchell's down to Kiltay when he started going out with Eileen. And, you know, we'd have meetings and we'd be putting up all sorts of reasons why we couldn't do things. But Liam was quite the opposite. There was nothing that Liam wouldn't take on. And I remember he started off with 400 Club here, fashion shows, talent contests. You know, he was just outstanding.
He was an absolute live wire, wasn't he?
He was, and such a genuine fella. You know, he would help out everybody, and did. And, you know, it was just, to be his friend was good. You know, I never ever forget him, you know.
That's a nice tribute to pay to him. And
Just on a funny side of it, when Liam arrived in Kiltale, you know, there was a lot of people wondering where he came from and what he was about and whose house he was visiting. I was going to Carol's for a long time, but maybe finish up anyway going into Callahan's. But I know one of the men that was on the video there tonight spoke to a group of lads around Liam's age, and he said he's a very slack men to let a Tipperary man come in and take the nicest apple in the orchard away. We all realised that later, but we were too late. I tell you, Eileen got no crab apple either, I tell you that. And there were peas in the pod.
well, absolutely, and I see, I just noticed I didn't realise Eileen was there as well. You're very welcome, Eileen. Now, Tommy Bannon, you were, I think, a little more vintage even than Tommy Cummins. And we, about the same, we're all about the same. We're all about, all right. Well, look, I tell you, I mentioned earlier on, like, a man that you probably would have good memories of that sort of brought this club through to the point that we're celebrating tonight. The like of Tommy Kane and Billy Delaney and Paddy Kelly Senior. I remember Paddy particularly, but you'd remember a lot of them very well.
Oh yeah, we grew up with them. When we started, we went there.
Hold it up.
We went to them men to form Kiltale again, and they were delighted to hear him. Because when Alby had broke up and they wanted to win with Rathmaline, which they did previous years and won championship. But we hadn't bicycles, no bike cars to go up to train in Rathmaline, so where are you going? So we said we start the team here again, and we went to these men and the back is 100%, and it took off from there and it went from strength to strength, from very, very small beginnings, wrapping our clothes up in a plastic bag under the tree. Well, you keep them dry when you're playing.
Yeah. And Tommy's shop, tell us a bit about that.
Well, that's back a bit.
Yeah.
Married a trim woman and Sheila Kennedy, and her father had a shop, and that's how it started. He encouraged me to do it, and I did, and I didn't, so we did it, and that was it. So,
Okay, the man beside you there, Patsy Worthy, you're a man as well, Patsy, that would remember those older men that some of the younger people wouldn't have remembered. You have to hold that up very close to you, just that's it, yeah, as if you're almost licking it like an ice cream. Tell me a little bit about those older men to give people, they were all stalwarts, they put a real lot of hard work into getting the club off the ground.
Paddy Kelly and Billy Delaney and Tommy Kane, and that started me out playing hurling. And I started down at the back of Cummins' playing hurling jumps. Mulligan was another one.
Another man, Jones Mulligan, yeah.
And they came making up. And I went to England in 1958, and that's and played in London over for a while. Then I come back in '69, paid me fair to come back over to play in London for a few years. We won the junior, and then we won the intermediate. And we should have gone on to win the senior, but Tommy Kane died in the meantime, and he was one of the driving forces of the thing. It took a little bit better to get it going back again, and then, it took a while to get it going. And
Yeah, well, that part you'd remember that was a particularly tough year, 1975. You lost two stalwarts at the club in Matt Callan and Tom Kane.
this is it, the fitness sport, that gets sponsored the club. Same thing now, even with God bless him, Matt Real was a great man, and you see all the clubs that won in 2 and 3 years, the man that done the sponsoring now. So it took man from outside to do all the sponsoring, but Keaton, but Ryan and Matt Real, it took all these people. I don't know what happens with them when they come from somewhere else to do it. But it was great.
Tell me a little bit about, okay, you worked in England and you played over there, but then you came over and back. Who paid the fares? Who paid the fares?
Go to the fairs from me, coming over and back, played in 1973, used to pick me up. Thomas Cummins used to come up.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Bring me back and drop me off the next day and be back walking on the and that 100, so walking the pub.
All right. We move on to one of the veterans of that side as well, and I think played at full back. It's Paddy there, Paddy. Can you hold that, Paddy? Hold it right up to your mouth, Paddy, as if genuinely right up. Yeah. Tell us your recollection of those early years in the lead up to that.
We just hoped that we'd win, and eventually we got there. That was really big.
Yeah, just hold it up. It's fine. Just hold it up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Let it against your chin. Hold it against your chin. Okay. What are your memories of winning that first senior hurling championship?
Great. We all have great memories of winning the first senior hurling championship that we won. It was great excitement in the place.
Did you ever think you would?
But I was hoping we would.
Yeah. What are your memories of the day? Did the video bring up any memories for you?
There are a lot of people gone since then,
Yeah, a lot of good people.
All there tonight.
Yeah.
On the video.
Yeah. Well, that's what tonight is about, obviously, and it's a credit to the club that they actually went about the organisers of tonight's club. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for coming up and sitting up with us. And Tommy has a few more words he wants to say. You work away, Tommy.
And I'd just like to say that we must remember Robbie Melia, Pascal Riley, Patsy Curley, and is there somebody else that I'm leaving out?
Well, Tommy Kane and Paddy, Pat Callahan, I suppose, Matt Callahan.
Yeah, and also we might have seen too much of them on the video, but we had a wonderful chairman at that time, Brendan Kane, and he put in a huge amount of work, and we were very grateful to Brendan for those years.
All right, that's not Tommy. Good about for... Testing, 1, 2. Now the second group we were going to have up here, they're all gone, well not them all, I think there's one man will come up here first before we start, and that's Dom Riley. Dom, would you be good enough to come up here please? The other men that we were hoping might come up, one was the current chairman Stephen McCormack, and the other one is Brendan Kane, and they're gone all shy, so didn't embarrass you up here. It's your friends and neighbours who no, nearly have to eat.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the job as current chairman.
Well, I walked into by mistake. I was down in the second tail of the bus. What wasn't happening wasn't there. As I didn't expect to be a chairman, but I ended up coming out of a job I didn't want. I ended up learning the hard way, you know.
Yeah, and is it a difficult job? Or Brendan came? Was Brendan was the chairman at that time? Was he? Yeah. How tough was it? I mean, you went about getting challenge games, and one of the things you did to sharpen them up was you brought them outside the county.
Yeah, I was looking what everyone else was doing. But it took me a year or so to learn, you know. So yeah, it took me a year or so to learn, and I was wondering how I'd get them to play better. So I started thinking about it, and we'd play challenges, and I started bringing them drinking then. And I found that worked.
Anything to encourage them. That's where your bad drinking happens, start with Paddy Kelly, is it? But yeah, tell us a little bit about that. Where did you sort of get where did you go to?
We went to our civil service, leased them, and all these SC teams to better it. And we found our talk made us because they taught us that you had to be first time hurling, no hanging around, get the ball, get rid of it. And that made the team. I think our talk made us. I remember myself passed around about our talk, looked for a challenge, and they never heard of us. So we stayed drinking with them all night, which was harmless, but I think we're home at 3 o'clock in the morning, not knowing where we were going, but never, and they agreed to give us a challenge. So we went up, and the Humber learned of us. So nothing to do with myself and asked really come back up to follow them on the night.
For more punishment.
And they didn't want to know. So we done the same again. We stayed drinking about 3 o'clock in the morning, and said, right, we'll give you one more chance. So we went up then the following week, and we hammered there with them. So they agreed to come back to us next week. I think that was the start of it all, you know. So it started from there.
Well, it's amazing. Other clubs in the county would have done the same thing. Boardsmill did it. They went into Westmeath. It's amazing how that developed clubs within the county. Killeen did it too. They used to come to our top as well.
Yeah.
But Westmeath, Boardsmill went into it. You were doing that. So that was a huge help for the development of hurling in Kintail and in the county, wasn't it?
It was a huge help because it showed us how to play, that you couldn't be hanging on the ball or messing with the ball, you had to rid it straight away, you know. So it was first time hurling, and it was different, or meat hurling was totally different, you know. It was more or less hanging on to the ball too long and not a strap, you know. But
tell me, apart from the trouble from Paddy Kelly, were any of the rest of them as troublesome?
no, they're all grand, they're all dead on. All you have to do is keep them all happy, and there's no problem whatsoever with them. And I found the answer to keep them happy. So I remember going to Lisa, and I suppose 6 or 8 months in the job, and we brought them to Lisa, and I said to Paddy Kelly Senior, I get a checkbook with you. And Paddy said, what do you want to check me for? And I said, make sure every man gets 3 pints here before he goes home. But that turned into 7 or 8. And, you know, it started from there. You know, it's all a pleasant train. It's a happy place.
That's what the camaraderie is about, I suppose. And that's what develops it all. What do you think, just skipping a touch, what do you think of the present lot?
The present lot, I still think the 2-3 team was far superior than the team then.
Oh, controversy.
I think all round they were much better team. They were more physical, they were actually better, and more skill, I think.
Okay, well, we won't dispute that tonight. I suppose
I know I'm in trouble.
I want to get home safe. The one thing that struck me about the few clips, just finishing with you before we go on to Tom, talking about Paddy Kelly, the thing that struck me about it wasn't he a very innocent looking, shy looking young fella at the time?
You better than us.
No, the old lad, no. The old lad was Lord of Mercy, was well experienced at that stage, but Paddy, and he was not letting that Jubilee Cup out of his hand.
Had he looked young, we'd all shoulders, we knew why you laughed, you know. I remember we were going somewhere with the cup in the back of the car, 2 or 3 of us, and I got a puncture in the way of wherever we were going. And I forgot with the cup in the back of the car, I got the spare wheel and threw it in the top of it.
Anyway, look, Brendan, we pass the mic on to Dom and we'll have a word with him. Dom, I suppose you're very welcome. One of the things with all these rural clubs, there always have been, and it's always dangerous when you start mentioning names or naming names, because there'd never be an intention of leaving anybody out, but you'll find in every club that there are 2, 3, 4, 5 families, shall we say, that contribute so much to the club in terms of the administration of it, in terms of, like I would use, for example, Kemess and the Horns. Automatically you think of that. Here in Kiltale, you've had your share of those as well, and Dom Riley's happened to be one of them. Sullivan's come to name as well. There are others that we'll mention, I suppose, as we go through tonight. But Dom, you've experienced it all, and I suppose Noel was involved and Pascal was involved, and you, I suppose, yourself, recently chairman, massive contribution from the family as such. But it's a fantastic community that's been built.
Oh, it is, Frank, definitely. I'm just a little concerned about it because Brendan here said it's all to do with drink. No, I thought it was the hurling and the hurling balls that it was all to do with. But no, just looking at the videos there earlier on with my dad there, just in 82, he was going around there with a big grin on his face, no hat. The proudest bunch, and then 83 he had a hat on him, and sort of was looking at him saying, where did that come from? But then it just dawned on me, he's probably trying to keep a low profile because I was marrying a Rathmullen girl that year, 40 odd years ago. But it's great to see the videos, it's great to see the lads even that are here tonight, and that now I wouldn't know any of them because I'm so young, but it's great to do it, great to see it, and it's great for the club as well.
Look, another thing that was happening at that time was, it happened coincidentally, you may remember, I just put up here on the thing, the Meath Chronicle, in 83 they started, you may remember Tex Mooney. He was with the Chronicle. Liam Hayes was there at that time, so too was Carl Jarman. But at that stage, Tex took over as sports editor, and the older one of us will remember, even county hurling finals, there'd be very little about them, a very short report afterwards. But in 83 as it happened, and I'd say it was for the very first time, as far as I can make out, all of a sudden he gave a profile to the Meath hurling final. And he put up, I have a picture of it here, and I didn't give this to Damien, 10 pictures, if you like, of both teams for the first time ever. That was 83, I think that was done. And from there on, that publicity that increased, it made a huge difference to the profile of hurling in the county.
Of course it did, yes. I mean, massive. As you said, 82, I think there was only 2 pictures. About 10 lines on the papers, and as you say, 83, 10 pictures, 2 columns on it. It started to lift the profile of hurling in Meath, and which is great because it's going from strength to strength.
That's fair enough. Stephen McCormack is current chairman. I wonder, Stephen, did you and Brendan here ever discuss how difficult your job is today by comparison to how easy it was for Brendan?
No, myself and Brendan didn't. Myself and Dom did. Dom done a smart one and disappeared and says, that's it, I have enough. And I came to an AGA meeting and someone proposed Stephen McCormick and about 20 hands went up. Look, it's a job I think most managers or most chairmen take on with pride. They always feel that they have something to bring to a club, and it's a love affair nearly. It's not something you can walk away from. And even though we all know secretaries and other people have probably a much tougher job, but as a chairman you are trying to drive and push on the club. Dom done an amazing job. Brendan obviously listening, I didn't even know until this week that Brendan was actually had chaired the club. And it's a vision you have that you can't let go. You were down from underage to the senior. Brendan says 82, 83 was better. I absolutely, totally, utterly disagree, of course. But I'm biased, of course. But yeah, it's a job you take on, but you don't take it lightly. There's not a lot of responsibility, but you are trying to push the club on, and not just me, Dom, Brendan, all those who have been chairmen before us. Like, this club went from very little, particularly to nothing, to what we have today, and we're still pushing. And on top of the premises, not just the team. And yeah, we had 11 fantastic years, 5 in a row. I think 11 finals overall, and 7 finals overall, lost 2. But yeah, it's a job not many people want.
Well, look, I know from the few words that you said earlier on that you remember all of this as a young guy. You even put a photograph up there. Explain to us, or tell us if you can, quantify if you can, how much of an influence that particular couple of years had to you as a young fella, because you were looking at Peter Farrell there in the video, and you were just in awe.
Yeah, like that's what I was trying to get the point across was about young players, young kids, boys and girls, having a hero, having a mentor who looks after them and teaches them to play hurling correctly. It's like even Patsy Murtagh. He was cornerback when I was fullback, and I messed up a few times. And he came over to me and says, if you don't catch the next ball, there's one place for you. And I go, where? He's at the fucking line. I wasn't long about getting my act together, but it's people like these. If you are in love with hurling, and this thing about not just love and hurling, it's such a fantastic sport. And to date, we've nearly 380 boys and girls under the age of 17 involved in the club. And as a chairman at the moment, they're all asking for pictures, and I'm saying, no, you're not going yet. But yeah, it's something that, like heroes and mentors, to drive kids forward, for them to continue on with their skills, to become a championship team, to win championships. They're the backbone, not necessarily the player.
Okay. Well, look, gentlemen, I have to say, one of my memories, apart from that, when we're going back to 1958, was around that time. One of the first juvenile hurling games I would have played was up here at the Grange, up the road here, just a couple of hundred yards from here, against Kiltale, Fatherhan, and I presume it was probably Paddy Kelly Senior that arranged the challenge, because Boarsville were forming an underage team. I'm giving away all sorts of secrets about my age at this stage, but that's neither here nor there. Stephen, Brendan and Dom, look, thank you very much indeed for coming up. And you're not as shy as you make out to be. Now the next lot that can get themselves ready is, if they wouldn't mind coming up here, Richie Melia, Mickey Regan, Aidan Crickley. Is Aidan here? Lovely job. Okay. The rest of you at this point, just get yourself a little drink, and you can sit back down when we're talking to the three of them when they come up here. financial page. You're being very good anyway. I'm going to start with Richie Melia, and Richie, as it happens, well, he knows. But a lot of people in here wouldn't realise that myself and Richie Melia are related. And that's it, I'm not telling you anymore. My granny on my mother's side, and Richie's granny on the mother's side as well. On the father's side were brother and sister. Right. So we're about third cousins. Where do you think he got the scale of them, for God's sake? Richie, you're welcome. A good little bit to talk to. There was one thing that was outstanding at that time in 82 and 83. Mickey Regan and Richie Melia, and I remember being in Killeen panels that beat you in a couple of or three semi-finals, but there was a tremendous understanding between Mickey Regan and Richie Melia. How did that develop?
I suppose it probably started out here in the pitch lane, and after a few games, I was probably the experienced one. I find it been slowing down a bit. Mickey Regan could run forever, and we often had a chat like before game what we do and what we want to do. Anytime I got bottled up, Mickey'd be running by it, give the hand pass, he'd be putting it over the bar or hitting it in further or something like that. You know, common sense, like we had a chat.
What did it mean to you? The winner of that in 82 and 83, just hold up a bit.
Oh, sure, it meant everything. Like, we're after, we won the intermediate 78, I was unlucky, broke my finger in the semi-final, missed the final. Played Killeen in the semi-final senior in 79. Woke up in Navan Hospital.
It wasn't Martin Dempsey, was it?
No, I don't know who it was. But then we...
Probably Billy Dixon.
Yeah, like we're only back by 3 or 4 points. Then we had another good game against them, 81. You know, only a couple of
They were tremendous.
They were hard games.
Killeen team and Kiltale team, they came through from the intermediate ranks, 78 and 79. And then they proved it. They broke a stranglehold, really, when you think of it. Killeen won 3, you won 2 out of the next 5.
Yeah, but I think, see, it all started say from juvenile level, because a lot of the Killeen boys, they're out winning 14, 16, the whole way up, and Kiltale won the juvenile and 75 was, but I like it. A lot of them players came through later on, like that kind of way, you know. But then 81, the Belgians again, we got 4 or 5 Sunday football ball. We won it 82 and 3. Of course, we got to semi-final then in 84, and to be fair to Killeen, they were the best team on the day in the world. Like. But as I often said to Paddy Kelly there, when Albion Killeen were giant, when you had 10 fellas playing senior hurling one Sunday and senior football,
yeah, well look, that's the next thing I'm coming to. And it's yourself as a dual star.
Yeah.
You played both. And you were looking after Albion footballers as well at the time.
Yeah, I was looking at it, but as I often say, it's all right in the early part of the year, but then when you're going well in both championships, maybe July, it kind of catches up with you. You know, and like we were lucky there in 84 in the football, we threw with Saints-Town, had a couple of points in the replay. Like we 10 fellas after playing senior hurling and senior football at one time, you know. It does